David worked day and night for his dream. But after months of relentless struggle, everything came crashing down. His business, his life's passion, had failed. His heart felt heavy, a stone of disappointment weighing him down. He locked the door one last time, the click of the lock echoing the sound of his dream shattering. Looking down at his empty hands, the reality of his failure hit him like a physical blow. He walked home through the pouring rain, each drop a reminder of his tears. He clutched a small, insignificant box of unsold items, the last remnants of what he had poured his soul into. The world's chorus of doubt rang in his ears. People told him to give up, to be realistic. Even his closest friends, the ones he thought would stand by him, said, "Maybe it's just not meant to be, David. Maybe it's time to let it go." Back in the solitude of his room, he sat motionless, staring at a photograph of his shop from its opening day. It was so full of hope then, so full of promise. He whispered to the empty room, his voice cracking, "Maybe they're right. Maybe I just can't do it." In that crushing moment, he lost something far more precious than money, more valuable than his inventory. He lost faith. Because faith is believing when the entire world tells you not to. It's seeing the invisible and holding on when there's nothing left to grip. The next day, aimless and defeated, David found himself walking through a park. His gaze fell upon an old man, patiently watering a patch of small, withered plants in bone-dry soil. Confused, David approached him. "Excuse me," he said, "but why are you watering those plants?" "It's clear they're dying." The old man looked up, a gentle, knowing smile gracing his weathered face. "No, young man," he replied softly. "They're not dying. They're waiting. Waiting for someone who still believes in them." The old man's words were simple, yet they pierced through David's despair. He looked into David's eyes with a profound sense of understanding and said something that would forever be etched into his soul. "Success," the old man declared, his voice firm but kind, "dies only when faith dies. The moment you stop believing in your dream is the moment it stops growing." Those words echoed in David's mind on his walk home. He went straight to the dusty corner where he'd thrown his old shop signboard. He looked at it, truly looked at it, for the first time since he'd given up. He took a deep, steadying breath, a flicker of the old fire returning to his eyes. He wiped the layers of dust and doubt from the sign and whispered to himself, "A promise this time, not a question. It's not over yet." With that one single decision to believe again, the world around him began to shift. It was as if color was returning to a black and white film. David reopened his shop. He pored over his old plans, redesigning his products with a fresh perspective. He worked late into the night, fueled not by caffeine, but by a renewed, unshakable energy. Faith gave him strength when logic screamed for him to stop. Faith became his light when everything around him was consumed by darkness. Months passed. The scene was the same shop, but the atmosphere was entirely different. It was now bustling with customers, their laughter and chatter filling the once silent space. David, his face beaming with a genuine smile, handed a product to a young boy whose eyes were wide with wonder. His business hadn't just recovered. It was thriving, it was in luck, and it wasn't a miracle. It grew because he refused to let his faith die. As the sun set, casting a warm golden glow over his successful shop, David stood outside, looking up at the sky. He finally understood, success dies when faith dies. But when faith lives, anything and everything is possible. So the next time you feel like giving up, when the world tells you it's impossible, I want you to remember David's story. Remember that your faith is the very heartbeat of your dreams. Don't let it stop beating. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more inspiration. Until next time, keep believing.